Hey, community church. My name is Gerard,
And I'm Mignon Duvenhage.
and we just had such an incredible time with you 2 months ago. We know you are wrapping up a series on just the grace of God. We just going to share a little bit of what God's grace have meant to us and how that have really motivated us to do what we're doing. I'll let my wife speak first.
So, in preparation just for this short little clip, reading 2 Corinthians 5 was such a good reminder for me of how important God's grace is in our lives. And I think for me right now, I'm a mom of two. And so, firstly, daily, I am reminded of just the shortcomings in my own life and how much I just need to lean into Christ and how He does not expect me to be perfect. He expects me to come to Him as I am and to accept that I'm firstly a child of God. And I think the moment that I realized in my life how big God's grace is and how much I need it, it compelled me to start sharing that with others. And so I really think if I look back on my life, those areas of sin that I was ashamed of, that I tried to hide, or maybe the areas that felt like God would never be able to redeem, that I have seen how just in really important points in my life and in the lives of others, how God has used those stories to redeem and then used me to maybe share just how God brought freedom in many areas. And so that's just been so amazing for me, that nothing is ever wasted with God, and how His grace really covers and redeems and brings freedom. And I can't but share that with others that need to hear the same message.
And I think what really stood out for me about 2 Corinthians 5 is it talks about being ambassadors. And it talks about our old self and how we a new creation. And all this is from God. And now He hasn't just reconciled us with Him, but He's given us the ministry of reconciliation. And that's the biggest grace gift we can have, is to be in a relationship with a living God, but therefore carry it out. I mean, that's God's plan with us as a church, is to carry out this grace. And how can you be an ambassador of something that you do not know? And so just really a privilege to share that in our context, this incredible gift of having a personal relationship, us as people with shortcomings that are broken through Jesus, have new life, have a relationship with Him, and then get to share that with a world that's so lonely and that need grace. And just so privileged to be able to have that ministry of reconciliation. So
yes. And what's been interesting for me too is just to see that God reconciling us to Himself and adopting us into His family has been so special, and then to see the ripple effect of that in God reconciling us to one another, and just the relationships that we have with people and how He can restore and redeem. And that's just been a beautiful part for me. That is an overflow, I would say, of God's grace in our lives, us sharing that message, and then the consequences of that in our families and our communities and people around us. So may you be encouraged to receive this grace and to share this grace, because it's the center of who we are as believers.
It was really cool when we had our time with the men on that Saturday morning at men's breakfast, talking about how we're a team. And so just want to encourage you, challenge you that, we're carrying this ministry of reconciliation back in South Africa the same way you're doing it here, and extending that to others. So may God bless you in doing that.